Have you ever looked in your moisturiser, your shampoo, your conditioner, your serum and thought, what's in that? Well, you've come to the right place. I'm Paula. I've been a makeup artist for around 17 years. I've worked in advertising, fashion, TV and film. I've used everything from £5 moisturisers to £500 serums on all skin types and in lots of different locations. So I thought I knew exactly what was in what and what everything did. But then when my son was really small, he developed serious allergies and very severe eczema. And I found myself in shops and online looking at the ingredients list like a detective. And even if you don't have those issues to contend with, I'm sure you found yourself in a shop looking at the back of a label thinking, I need a science degree to find out what all of these really long named ingredients are. So on this channel, I am going to break down what they are, what they do to your skin, the claims, whether they are worth it or whether they are just not worth that spend. Today we're going to look at fragrance, one of the top triggers for allergic reactions and reactions on the skin. And we're going to look at if it can get through the barrier of your skin, and if it can, what does it actually do once it's there? Another thing that we're going to touch on today is clean beauty versus traditional beauty. And this is very pertinent when it comes to fragrance, as most clean beauty brands will profess to be fragrance free. So why is fragrance in products? Well, obviously it's there so that it makes things smell nice, to mask the smells of ingredients which sometimes aren't very nice. And brands also use this as a signature scent for their products. Fragrance is used sometimes to describe a whole host of different ingredients, different chemicals, and different formulations that brands can hide under this term of fragrance, and nobody can know what it is. So it's a bit of a trademark of their signature ingredients with regards scent. And that's fine, because obviously brands don't want loads of dupes straight on the market. As soon as they launch something, it can be copied immediately, and then they're not going to be able to get the revenue in from all their hard work in their science labs, etc. But with regards to fragrance, this matters because as a consumer, you don't really know exactly what is in that fragrance. So let's touch a little bit on the health angle with regards to that. Every product in the UK and in Europe has to go through quite rigorous testing, and they are required by law to have a toxicology review, to have a skin absorption assessment, and to have allergen label clearly displayed on their labels. And according to the NHS and the CPTA, fragrance is one of the top triggers of allergic reactions in products, whether that be redness on the skin, under the skin, itching, no obvious rash, or a full-blown rash and obvious breakout. Fragrance can also build up a sensitivity over time. So I've had this myself, I don't know whether you have, where you have used a product for years and years and years, no problem, and then later on down the line, suddenly every time you use that product, you're sort of getting a rash or a bit of redness. That's called sensitization, and that can happen with any product that you have. So why is fragrance the top cause of irritation in products? Well, it's because of some of the ingredients that are used to help emulsify. If there's an oil and water mixture together, they're there to keep the fragrance on your skin longer, so the smell is there for longer. Most of these ingredients aren't going to penetrate through the layers of your skin and into your bloodstream. So let's dive into a little bit of skin science. Now, it's not going to be too much because obviously you're not here for that. You're here for a quick overview when you're looking at a product. What is it? Do I need it? Will it hurt me? But I just wanted to explain to you a little bit about how things can actually get into your skin and things that can actually get into your skin, because there is so much information, mostly marketing, that states that everything's getting into you and it's going straight into your bloodstream, and that is not true. Your skin is an amazing fortress. Nothing really is getting through there unless it is damaged. Now this damage, it could have occurred from a number of different ways. It could be that you have a cut, which is the most obvious one. It could be that you have over exfoliated your skin. It could be from a condition like eczema, acne, or rosacea. But generally, most of us, we don't have those issues and our skin barrier is intact. So you can see the skin has got quite a few layers, and the outside layer of your skin is quite an oily layer. It's made up of all your dead skin cells and it is all held together in sort of like a sebum. But back to fragrance. So here I want to just make it easy for you to understand what to look for on a label. Sometimes these things will be put on the label and sometimes it's just under the heading of fragrance. So this is why it's quite tricky with fragrance. You want to look for names like ethanols, which are like alcohols, glycols, and limonene. These are all things that can help that fragrance penetrate deeper into your skin's layers. DEP, which is diethyl phthalate, that is there to be sort of like a solvent really, and that helps the product just attach to the skin for a little bit longer. It can also have things like synthetic musks. Now these could be galaxolide or tonalide, and the problem with these is they are quite persistent in the environment. So they do sit on the skin, then when you wash them off, obviously they're going into the system and they can stick around for quite some time. And also things called aldehydes, and these can have a little bit of a mild estrogenic disruption in the body. So very important if you are adolescent and if you're going through the menopause or your perimenopausal and your hormones are already quite disrupted. If you're piling on loads of products with these types of things in, they can have a little bit of a disruptive impact on the body. And this has been shown in studies, and in these studies these results aren't from you popping on a little bit of perfume or rubbing in your favourite cream. These are reactions that have been seen in lab studies, but these have raised enough questions for the regulators to want to keep monitoring them and to limit the amount that are actually in all of your everyday products. I'll link everything below so you can have a little deep dive if you want to. So molecules, let's keep it simple for skincare. Water, oil. Now the size of the molecule matters when it comes to your skin. So there's something called the 500 Dalton rule, or 500 DA, and anything that is above 500 DA generally cannot penetrate through the outer layer of your skin. So it's just going to sit on the surface of your skin's barrier. But many of these molecules that are within fragrance are actually really, really small and are made up of the right kind of consistency to penetrate through your skin's barrier, because brands want that fragrance to sit on your skin longer. So you think, oh yeah, that's a great perfume or a great moisturizer, I can still smell it 3 hours later. You don't feel like you've wasted your money, you feel like, you know, you've had a treat and everybody's winning. So what can you do about it if you do have a compromised skin barrier, or you are more environmentally focused, or you, like me, you're working in an industry where you are working with lots and lots of different people and clients all the time, and you need something that is not going to kick off a reaction and you are unable to complete the job, or they're going to an event and now they've got a swollen eye, which has happened to me. In comes clean beauty to save the day, or so we think. Clean beauty doesn't always mean better, as I found out myself when I was trying to find things that weren't kicking off my son's eczema. And here is the confusion. They've still got other ingredients in them that will kick off a flare-up if you have a compromised barrier. We need to look for different brands that are not going to aggravate anybody. Brands are going to be generally removing more aggravating ingredients than others. There are different labels and certifications that you can look for on brands. So the certifications that you should be looking for when you are looking for your clean beauty brands would be the Organic Soil Association, and you can look at Credo Beauty. I'll link to these down below so that you can click on them and they'll give you lists of products that are certified by them. So it'll give you a little bit more peace of mind. So the takeaway: when you look at your labels in the shop, like we all do, and think, oh, what is in that? Just be aware that most of the time, these are going to be the scientific or molecular names for generic ingredients like sunflower oil, or it's going to be something, you know, as innocuous as water. If you've got uncompromised skin, you don't really need to worry about it too much. And if you're happy with the smell of something and you really enjoy it, then by all means use it. For me personally, I don't like a lot of different smells. I find it quite overwhelming, so I tend to just stick to either fragrance-free or one particular fragrance. And obviously in my professional kit, I keep everything fragrance-free, nut-free, and generally with a more natural ingredients list. That will negate any kind of allergy or outbreak, which is going to make my life and everybody else's life a lot easier. So I hope that's cleared up a little bit some of the myths around what is actually going to penetrate through your skin, and it is not a lot if you have got a strong skin barrier. And that is why you should try and endeavour to keep your skin's natural barrier as intact as you can. Try to avoid over exfoliating your skin. If you're young, you don't need to be putting on loads of acids, masks, exfoliants. Your skin's going to naturally do that for you because you're young. If you are like me and heading into menopause or you're perimenopausal, that process has started to slow down. So yeah, once a week, twice a week, exfoliate your skin, do look after your skin, keep that barrier intact because you actually need that there more at this point in your life. Don't overdo it on the skincare. Next, I would say patch test things. Most of the big companies will do a little sachet of their cream or whatever it is, their serum. It'll probably give you a couple of applications, and then you can actually see, did I have a little bit of an itch, or did it give me a little bit of an uncomfortable feeling, or was it all good, before you go out and splash £50 on your new product. It's really key to make sure that you do a little bit of research. Don't just waste your money and end up with a really beautiful cabinet full of moisturizers and serums that you can't actually use on your skin. And as we all know, you can just now take a picture of the label of anything that you want, highlight the individual ingredient, press look up, and the lovely people at Google will look it up for you and tell you exactly what that is. So it is getting easier to decipher what everything is, but sometimes you need a little bit of information as to what it's actually doing to you and what things are going to have an impact and why. So I hope you can still see me. The sun is blaring through the roof light at the moment. I hope that's been helpful. I will be back with another episode, and that next episode is going to be about preservatives, and we're going to dive into whether they are friend or foe, why they're in every single product that you have, and why they might actually be one of the most misunderstood ingredients in your skincare products. Subscribe, do all those things, enjoy the links, have a little read, and I hope to see you next time.